Hey everyone, this is Lewis from Level 1 Gaming. I'm bringing to you guys the impressions video for GhostWire Tokyo. So this is a bit new for me since I've always done reviews, so I've never done like a review in progress or an impressions video of any kind. So for this video, I'm going to take away the structure that I normally do when it comes to the reviews. So with the reviews, I'm more scripted. And with this one, I'm just not going to use a script. I'm just going to go a little bit more free-flowing, a little bit more off the top of my head. I have my notes in front of me just to sort of keep me on track, but I may be rambling at times. So if you want to have something a little bit more structured, then I'm going to point you to the written impressions, which is going to be in the link in the description below for the Level 1 Gaming website. So if you want to read that, I think these two things go well together hand in hand. So if you want to read the impressions and watch the video, there's going to be some things that are going to be in the written portion that's not going to be here in the video and vice versa. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys the gameplay in motion since you can only do so much with screenshots. And I just want to basically give more insight into what I was thinking when I was writing the impressions, because this game is actually coming out pretty good. Like, this game makes a good first impression, you know, no pun intended. This is a game where you're playing like this open world game that's, you know, if you've played any open world game like Ubisoft open world games, then you got your usual thing where you got a very big expansive map that has a lot of markers all over it that you got to check off. It's got like these Ubisoft tower kind of thing going on where you're gonna clear and cleanse these shrines, and then the map opens up because like there's like this fog that's surrounding the city, and you can't go where there's fog because you'll die. So you have to slowly but surely open up your own world as you clear the map, get through these things. And yeah, I'm actually having fun. I'm having a good time with it. This game is really good at sort of keeping a good pace, and that's one of the things when it comes to like game design is like how do you structure and pace a game that's open world where you can't really control where the player goes. Where, well, in this particular case, you just sort of, essentially make it linear, but not really. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do in the meantime. There's branching like paths where you can go on side quests, and you don't have to mainline anything. You're rewarded for side questing, and it's very how do I put this? I'm not gonna say fun. I will say it's just very hypnotizing. I would say I'm doing these like long play sessions, and I'm not really feeling the time, and like there's so much dynamic things happening when it comes to the gameplay. Like, you can be trying to find some tanukis that are like scattered throughout the map, or you can do side quests that are like very self-contained stories. You can basically, of course, mainline it and get like all the juicy cutscenes and like all the dramatic stuff. Ultimately, when it comes to these side quests, though, I will say that they're not repetitive, and I really do appreciate that. Like, it doesn't really, I like when it comes to side quests, they tend to be very, just padding, and I don't think that this game really suffers from that. I'm really taken by some of these things, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about this game. I really like this game. Let me just go into some of the gameplay. I was talking about how like this gameplay is like all over the place in my written portion, and I was saying like all over the place in the sense of like it feels like it's a grab bag of a lot of games that I've played before in the past. Like, of course, your open world games. I've never played Control, but I've seen gameplay of Control, and there's a lot of that I can see that's happening. I did do the review for Deathloop as well, and there's some Deathloop has supernatural powers or superpowers that you can do, and it's got that kind of feel of it. So if you just take away the guns and the grenades from Deathloop, and then you got some approximation of what GhostWire Tokyo is, because you're playing in this with like these supernatural powers that are coming out of your hands, and like the hands are like this good extension of your, I don't know, of your body when it comes to the open world thing. So like you're like essentially like basically shooting out powers coming out of your hands, and there's a variety so far. They start you out with just one, like the green wind power. It's kind of basic, and it really gets the job done. It's really easy to spam. So yeah, I think that's cool. and then they give you a more powerful like firepower that like gives you only 5 shots at first, and you can one-shot certain enemies with that. And then there's this water power that's kind of weak sauce at first compared to the other two, but um, the game's guide that they provided to us, or like not a strategy guide, but like a tips guide, says that it's done on purpose. The water power is intentionally weak, but yeah, you have to upgrade it in order for it to become powerful, because the water power does like a splash damage where you can hit multiple enemies at once. But you have to upgrade and get those perks, and so it doesn't feel very useful to you at first because they're not really doing much damage to enemies at the beginning when you try integrating it into your moveset. But yeah, so you got fire, wind, water. I mean, once we get Earth, then we pretty much gonna hit the Avatar state. So um, yeah, just joking and stuff. Like I said the Captain Planet joke on the written portion, but yeah, like this game is definitely fun. I have had a fun time going through all of the side missions, doing the upgrade tree. I feel like I've gotten very powerful, seemingly quickly. Like I know it doesn't time just goes by really fast. How do I put this? And like it doesn't feel like I did like these long play sessions. It just kind of feels like I just lose track of time when playing these games, and I can see the appeal that open world games have. And this game is kind of like doing that really well for me. Like it's got like the linearity that I like in games when it comes to storytelling, and I feel like the pacing feels right, but also just sort of giving you like free reign of when you want to tackle certain things. The game does a good job of just drip feeding you side quests, because the game at certain checkpoints, with internal checkpoints that the game doesn't tell you about, will like give you side missions, usually like 3 at a time. So if you ignore them, then they'll like pile on until like you'll have like 6 of them on your map or whatever, which is the most I've ever had. Excuse me, the most I've ever had. And I was always making sure not to progress too much and get those side quests done, because honestly, like those side quests are really the thing that makes you the most powerful. Like you get so much like spirits that you turn in and you collect, that levels you up, that gives you more skill points to buy. You get these a lot of these unlockables, little side perks like outfits, songs, and whatever. Like it's just a lot. And yeah, the game is definitely on a curve. It's gonna make the game easier because you can like max pretty quickly, but at the same time, I feel powerful, but there's so much more to like unlock, and I'm glad that I'm having this kind of very focused approach, because I want to sort of go through my play style lets me go through one page at a time instead of trying to like spread myself thin and try to get level 1 upgrades for everything, instead of just doing what I do when I would just try to max one thing out and then move on to the next one, which feels right for me. And yeah, this game definitely makes me like smile a lot. This game was a little scary for me at first. I can't show you the beginning of the game, obviously. I can't show you chapter one, but in chapter one, it's just playing straight out of a horror game when you're in this creepy hospital. And then after that, you kind of sort of you feel the fear that the character is feeling, that Akito is feeling. He's scared and you're scared, and then you got these ghosts, apparition things that are just coming at you. But as Akito feels more comfortable with his abilities and his powers, you also in turn become more comfortable as well. And I think that's really cool. I was out here just mowing enemies and just walking where I'm not scared, and I think that was very powerful. And then the game wants to mess with you a little bit, and it makes you scared. Makes you scared a couple of times. I had a lot of jump scares. One of them was like a real world jump scare, and this is just not the game's fault, but like I play with these noise canceling headphones, and then my brother walked in on me playing the game, and he scared me, and I'm like, and it was just at the right time, because I was very tense during the game. Whenever there was this moment where you're depowered for like a little bit, and that depowered section was like very powerful in the sense that it turned into a horror game for a little bit, because now you can't just mow down enemies like nonchalant. you sort of have to like be very conservative because you don't have infinite ammo because you only have a bow and arrow to defend yourself with, and it was a lot of me just running for dear life. And yeah, that this is definitely a game that I feel like is worth a lot of people's time. It's got a lot of tender love and care put into it. This game was made by Tango Gameworks, which is a Japanese studio, founded by Shinji Mikami. He's formerly of Capcom and Platinum Games, among others. He directed survival horror games like the Resident Evil, like the first couple of Resident Evil games, Dino Crisis, and most recently like The Evil Within. He's an executive producer on this game. I believe he doesn't want to direct anymore. Um, so I think that this is still you still got those touches of survival horror there in it. But yeah, like this game is like I'm definitely one of the weakest people when it comes to horror games. I don't really do that, and the fact that I'm having so much fun with this game, I'm actually I'm very like I'm very happy with that. Basically, like this game is very like feeling like more adventure game than horror game, so they just it's easy, it's more palpable for me. So yeah, I'm actually a bit of a weeb as well. So this game is very Japanese centric in the sense that the game defaults to Japanese language audio with English subtitles, and I definitely do appreciate that. I didn't switch the English track at all because I watch my animes with subtitles, so this is kind of in line. And for people that don't want to read subtitles, you're more than welcome to change it, and I won't judge anyone for their preferences. And as far as the other Japanese influences that I wanted to touch on, is there's a lot of text in the menu that gives you a lot of explainers. There's explainers for everything, and so like when you pick up food, then you can use those food for like your health. So if you take damage, just eat some food and you'll get your health back up. But all of the food that you pick up is Japanese cuisine, and they give you like descriptions of all the food, and some of those things look pretty dope. And I had no idea that these dishes existed. Of course, I know that other foods exist, but like I just never seen or heard of it. And it's nice to, like the video game to sort of just give you like a little explainer of these things. And yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to that, and I just appreciate also how these are like Japanese ghosts. They're not like ghosts. They're yokai, and there's something called like the Karakasa Kozo and like Itan Momen, and I've never heard of these things, and then like I googled image searched them, and they match exactly their in-game counterparts like perfectly, like, and I was like that's a thing, and I'm like that's cool, and this game is definitely a nice little taste of Japanese culture, and it definitely feels that all things Japanese are in vogue right now because between the success of Ghost of Tsushima and Sifu, and presumably the upcoming success of Trexiomi, like all things Japanese are like stock wise are rising. So um, this game has definitely a lot of moments, and I just want to give one last thing here, and just to leave you guys on. There was this moment in the game where I was like, just going through the game like very like boldly. Like I was well in this pace where like nothing scares me anymore, and then the game just made me scared again, made me do a jump scare. And so to give you a little comparison, like here's a quick clip of me playing PT on a let's play of PT with my cousins.
After neighbors called 911, found his father in his car.
Oh, the door. Oh, I was thinking it was like a code like your house. Holy shit! I'm fucking scared. Are you dead? She's eating you. My heart is fucking racing.
Holy shit.
Oh, they're distracting us with the 204-863. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Behind you.
Oh my god. I play this shit with my eyes closed.
Now, here's a similar moment in the game where I was trying to unlock this, cleanse this tower.
鳥居があった。浄化する。離せ。俺に貸せ。ありがとう。平和いい。来るぞ。
Yeah, they basically had their similar moments there, and I just jumped up and like twitched a little, and I was like, oh my god. But yeah, so there's a whole lot to talk about in this game. There's a whole lot that I didn't get to mention from my written portion, but this game is looking good. It definitely puts its best foot forward. I like the pacing. I like everything about this game so far. I also just one last shout out the DualSense. I love the haptic feedback. I love like the feeling of the raindrops whenever you're walking in the rain. It's just nice. It's just everything is really cool. And yeah, definitely come back. Stay on this YouTube channel. Subscribe. I will be putting out a full like actual review when I've beat the game and when the embargo lifts. You guys should definitely check it out. And I'm going to go ahead and just sign us out here. So just know that GhostWire Tokyo is going to release on March 25th on PlayStation 5 and the Windows Store. And you can find me on this YouTube channel every Tuesday on a show called Cogs in a Machine, where we do deep dives into topics in video games. And then you can also find me on podcast services on a podcast called Ready Press Play. I talk about all things gaming news and all things gaming every week, every Friday. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys' time and stay tuned. I'll see you guys later.